Will your child be a future millionaire? Welcome to Money for Mums, where I share tips, deals and knowledge to help you with your future paycheck. It's week 2, I've got lots to share. Let's get started. Is your child set to be a millionaire? It turns out that there's nearly 90 children in this country that have a junior ISA that's worth over £200,000. I think that is one of the most beautiful gifts you can give a child. They are not able to access the money until they're 18, but when they turn 18, that is one of the most challenging times of an adult's life. All of a sudden, you are responsible for these huge events. You are responsible and have to pay for weddings, buying your first home, maybe even traveling or buying a car. It all costs a lot of money, and at that time it's very unlikely that you'll be in a high paying role at the age of 18, 19 or even 20. So to have a gift like that for a parent or guardian is such a peace of mind for the child, and it's something that's often used by parents to ensure that they can give a gift, and even grandparents too, especially because it's tax free. And for a while, I thought the cinema was quite pricey to go to, but actually, if you're not trying to get loads of sweets and drinks, it's actually all right. Recently, I've spotted there's been quite a few deals. I went to go see Mario the other day with my children and my son's friend, and it really didn't cost that much. One thing I've noticed they've started doing is they have criteria of seats depending on where you sit, and we selected the Super Saver, which was £6. But right now in View, they've got some deals on where it's some tickets for £2.49 when booked online. There is a gender pension gap. The reason why I started the series was to shock and normalise pensions, because it is something that a lot of us are interested in, but the jargon and the time to look at it, so it's a barrier. Every day I may share a couple of cool facts about pensions, and let's just start with today. So a workplace pension is a retirement savings plan arranged by your employer where both you and your employer contribute money to build a fund for retirement. So you could think of it like a wedding analogy. Let's say you plan to get married in maybe a year's time, and both your partner and yourself are working, and you're going to save a certain amount to cater for the wedding. You can see yourself as part of the partnership, and then your employer as your partner. Both of you are contributing towards that end goal, which is the workplace pension. That your parents want to give you a nice gift to help you towards the cost of the wedding, then you would see as the government tax relief. Another week, another bill that may be set to rise, and this week it's groceries. It's mentioned that due to the war currently going on, that it's likely food may rise. This is items such as pastas, oils, all our basic essentials, and they're even guessing that it could be almost double the price it was in 2021. And this is set to happen in November. So of course, there isn't much we can do about the rising costs, but what we can do is try and make sure that way it's wisely. One thing I love to do is make sure I measure out my ingredients so it avoids any waste. I used to be very guilty of like cooking too much and then leaving the rest in the pan, and then it would end up in the bin. That is something that I no longer do, and I often try to measure out all of my ingredients. Another thing is shopping around, like constantly keeping an eye out for the best deals. I've recently moved to Aldi, and I've tried to shop in Aldi for a few of our items. We still have to go to other supermarkets for other bits, but it makes a huge difference. And there's always this theory that's going around about the state pension, and will it even be there by the time millennials are pensioners? And Tony Blair has shared his thoughts on the triple lock, stating that it's unsustainable for various reasons. I'm not going to go into this because that could be a whole video in itself, but it is a reminder that it's constantly changing, and whilst this triple lock is trying to adjust with the current market, I believe that over time it's worrying that they're challenging it, because if it is expensive, that's because of the current state of the world. It is expensive to live right now, and I think to take away from that is concerning, but that's why it's so important to have your own investments and, you know, self-invested pensions, so your SIP, because it's not guaranteed and they do constantly keep changing the rules. So it's something to bear in mind. If you have a child that is going to university this autumn, and your household income is less than £40,000, then maybe a scheme by Save the Student might be of benefit for you. But Save the Student have a bursary to help with the startup costs because their mission is to stop students having to fall out of uni due to the rising cost of living. And whilst the maintenance loan can help with some of the costs, it is slightly below the amount we need to get by. So they have a loan which you can apply for on their website, and they've got an eligibility criteria as well. So you have to be applying for your first year or foundation year, and you have to have a household income of less than £40,000, a UK bank account, and qualify as a home fee student. I think that's really cool because I remember going to uni and it was really challenging to try and survive, especially because I was in London at the time, so the general cost of living was really expensive. You know, I was often worrying about paying the rent. They're going to be helping several students with roughly around £750 each. Budgeting tip for you is weekly budgets. If you find that you get towards the end of the month and the money seems to be running low, then one thing I think is really helpful, splitting the monthly income into weekly amounts. Let's say, for example, your groceries, you often overspend towards the beginning of the month, which means that you end up not having as much left towards the end of the month. What I like to do is set up a weekly budget so then I have a goal to stick to week by week. This lets me know that if I overspend on this particular week, I know next week it's going to be a little bit more tricky. So I definitely find it really useful to break that monthly income into weekly amounts. Are you looking for extra cash? A side hustle I have used in the past is mystery shopping. And mystery shopping is exactly what it says in the tin. You're shopping, but you're not acting mysterious, but you're not disclosing who you are. So over the years, I have done so many mystery shops, and the fun thing about this is often you're paid to do things that you would have done anyway. So for example, I have done some mystery shops in Asda where I've just had to spend £10 on a few bits. I keep my receipt and then I fill out a survey explaining what my experience was like, and they might set you a few tasks such as maybe the self-checkout, asking a question there and seeing if anyone responds, or taking a picture of the front of the store. But mystery shopping has been something that I have loved to do in the past. They've also done mystery shopping in some pretty cool excursions as well. One in York many years ago, which was a free day out for my son and I. The best thing is they don't only pay for the admission price, but they often reimburse you for your time as well. But what I would mention is that the surveys do take a little while to fill out. There's lots of mystery shopping sites, but one of my favourites is ESA Retail, and they have lots of both online and in-person mystery shops that can help you make an extra 10, 15, £20 here and there. That's a wrap up of today's money news for mums. I hope this video was useful for you, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.